Like, for instance, I was about to say the name of the street that I lived on, which is probably not a good thing to do. But
well, it's just between us.
The name of the street I live on has an R in it. There's a clue. And,
Mercer.
There you go. Damn it, shut up.
Welcome to Couch Surfing, the show where miraculous guests look back at their big roles, their little roles, and everything in between. I'm here with Daniel Radcliffe. Yes,
Hello.
Daniel.
Thank you for having me on your couch.
Thank you for being here.
Yeah, it's awesome.
You ready to surf?
I'm ready to see some of me acting when I was young, man. This isn't going to be pretty.
This is going to be a blast. Let's go.
Can we go and see the monkeys,
Oh my
Dad?
God.
There's a Monkey Island, Andy, and we always bring bananas for them.
Wonderful. What's my birthday?
Put that kid in a franchise. Get him in.
You are so adorable. How old were you in this film?
I guess I would have been 9 there, and I mean, you know, I was a 9-year-old kid working with Pierce Brosnan, who was still in the midst of James Bond at that point. I must have annoyed him so much. He was so nice to me, but like, as I arrived with like a list, I was like, here, sign photos for my entire class of people, please. And he did. He was so nice. But you know, Jamie Lee Curtis is my mum, Jeffrey Rush is my dad. Pretty good for my first set of on-screen parents.
And you're filming in Panama.
And filming in Panama. For most people, you know, that would have been the best cast you ever worked with. Like, that's an amazing thing to get started, and it just so happened that I got Harry Potter next.
Yeah.
So yeah, but it's crazy to see that.
Well, since you brought it up,
Yeah.
the next clip.
Oi, here we go.
Let's go.
Wow, God, I have not seen this in years.
You know, this scene really marks a tonal shift for the series.
Totally.
On both the books and the films.
I mean, there, you know, with Cedric coming out, I mean, that is, you know, a young character and a very popular character dying in a. I mean, they were very dark films, and you're right. I think that scene, which is obviously the scene where Voldemort kind of returns to the franchise proper for the first time, was, you know, a huge turning point. I remember Jeff Rawle, who plays Rob's dad in this, like. I remember his scene where he comes in and just loses it over the body of his dad it was heartbreaking. The third and fourth film were kind of big moments for me in terms of they were the times that I was like, oh, I really want to do this. Like I realized I want to like pursue acting kind of after these films are over.
Well, speaking of getting older, how has your relationship with Pottermania evolved over the years?
I think it's something that I've become more and more comfortable with. When I was young, I met an old punk who had been in a band that I really liked, and so I went up and asked him about it, and he literally just said, like, I don't talk about that. That was kind of sad. I felt it would be kind of sad to look back on this huge period of your life and not embrace it. So, I mean, as much as I'm very happy to be doing other films now, I'm always genuinely very honored when someone comes up and says, you're a huge part of my childhood. You know, for me, that was The Simpsons. Like, The Simpsons was a massive part of my childhood, and I don't say that in a flippant way. Like, I loved it. And the idea that I could occupy that space for somebody else is amazing.
You ready to keep surfing?
Yeah.
All right.
Brother.
Oh, God. That's Charlie Williams and Marty Lawson next to me. I feel like I need to say that. All these guys, you've got some of my best friends in the crowd here. That's Dave Hull in the back. Dave Hull is walking towards us now.
All right,
He was my
Dave.
understudy, and I also used to use his name to check into hotels.
Are you kidding?
Yeah, because they
That's
always give
awesome.
you like, there he is, there's Dave. He's going to be so embarrassed when he sees. But now he is on, he's been on Crazy Ex-Girlfriend and is like famous within his own right, and so I can't really use his name anymore when I'm checking into hotels.
So until this project, you'd never done an American accent before, is that correct?
No, yeah, that would have been true. I had never done one. But that's the thing, I think as an English actor, you kind of grow up doing American accents all the time because we listen to so much like American TV, and when I would give my action figures like accents when I would play with them when they're young, I think I've been practicing my American accent since I was like 6.
Up next. You're playing poet Allen
I'm playing
Ginsberg.
Allen Ginsberg.
And other than getting a perm, how did you
which is
prepare to play this character,
I didn't.
this
I
iconic
just got the
character?
perm.
You just got the perm and
yeah,
you stopped.
I was like, that's it. I'm done. If it takes more than this, I'm not doing it. This was also the film I met my girlfriend on. So it's a very we have a scene with a few scenes together. It'll be a hell of a story to tell our kids one day because of what our characters do with each other.
What happens?
Well, her character gives my character a in a library. That's how we met. So you know that was the beginning of our beautiful relationship. And one day
We happen to have that clip up next.
It is, but what's funny is that, and like doing something, this is kind of a perfect example, just because people do often say like, what was it like to grow up on film? And as far as I'm concerned, I didn't. Like all the, I was on set all the time, but all the like private moments of where you grow up were off camera, apart from meeting the girl who is the love of my life and my girlfriend, which is genuinely preserved on film, and our characters are meeting and flirting with each other. So there is this kind of sweet record of us just meeting for the first time and flirting.
That is so sweet. Welcome back to Couch Surfing. I'm still here with Daniel Radcliffe. Daniel, shall we continue?
Yeah, let's.
All right, let's do it.
Hey, you want to see something really cool?
Is a falcon's training leash called a creance? Yes.
Oh, man.
Which I didn't know.
No, nor did I. When I got cast as Harry Potter, probably the second or third thought that I had after that happening was, maybe I'll get to be on The Simpsons one day.
Are you serious?
Like, it was just, it really, like, to me, that was the mark of, like, you've made it. I think I've now done The Simpsons 3 times, which is...
And I'm assuming if they called again, you would say yes.
Yeah, I'd be, you know, there in a second.
Is there a dream character that you would either like to create or reprise for The Simpsons?
They could bring me in, tell me to do anything, I would do it. I'll, you know, if any of the original Simpsons cast are leaving, you know, I'll have a go. I can't do any of the voices, but you know, I'll try and come in and do a Hank Azaria or Harry Shearer and, yeah, see what I can do.
I see you doing a little something there.
No, I wasn't, but
No?
thank you.
Oh, okay.
I
thought you were
thought I
auditioning.
was doing some really
Yeah.
subtle acting.
Yeah.
No, I wasn't. I don't have subtle acting mode.
I like you.
Oh, thank you. Cool.
All right, up next.
Everyone you've never said that to on the show now knows. Oh.
Okay, this is, to me, so genius and so ridiculous and incredible. How did this come about?
I was doing a show called The Cripple of Inishmaan at the time in New York, which is why I have that stylish 1920s Irish haircut. And
I like the cut.
it actually is kind of cool
Yeah,
and
it
hipster
looks
now.
good.
So yeah, I was doing that show, and Judd Apatow came and saw it, and then like came up to the room afterwards and was like, "Hey, do you want to do like a cameo in the Amy Schumer film that we're making at the moment?" And nothing in this industry has ever done that casually. So I was like, yeah, sure, like whatever. I'm never going to hear about this again. You don't really mean that. And then he went.
You thought he
and
was just
then,
giving you the
Yeah, I
Hollywood.
thought, exactly.
Yeah,
I thought,
right.
you know, it was one of those, a nice thing to say, thanks for coming to see the show, cool. And then the next day, we started getting like communication from them saying that they were really serious and really wanted me to come in and do this thing.
Any
Yeah,
dog mishaps?
I can't really remember. They were actually, to be fair, for having like 10 dogs on set, it went pretty smoothly. Like that's, yeah, I've had animal scenes go worse than that, I think. So that's, yeah. I had a bat land on my head once, and that was less pleasant. I think a bat peed on Rupert once, on Potter. This is all in Hagrid's hut. There was just so many animals. Sorry, there's so many animals in there in every scene. What's next? Oh. This is, if I can have one scene played at my funeral, it will be this scene.
Really?
Yeah. I love,
Why?
because it's so dumb and so beautiful. I love this film so much, and it says something so weird and lovely about just like being alive and being human and how, you know, crazy the whole experience is.
This was dubbed Daniel Radcliffe's fart movie.
Yes, which
How
does
did-
not do it justice, but yes.
How did you feel about something that sounds so significant to you being reduced to that tagline?
It's a blessing and a curse, because yes, it got known as the Daniel Radcliffe farting corpse movie, but that also did get it a lot of attention.
Got you.
And so people did go to it, possibly some expecting something like that, and then they actually went to it and it was like, oh no, this is actually a weird, beautiful meditation on life. I was quite freaked out when it first came out, because I was like, I thought when you spent so long with something, you kind of can forget how weird it is. It just, the whole thing just makes sense to you, and then it comes out and people are like, whoa, this is super weird. And if it had just been that reaction, I think it would have been upsetting, but because people were eventually able to get beyond that.
That's right, they were.
It was really, yeah, it was cool.
Okay, next up.
Laura, approaching. All right.
I love this show.
Thank you. It's really fun, isn't
It's
it?
great. It's so much fun. I mean, you play an angel that helps God with his extensive to-do list.
Yes, the answered prayers department, which is probably a lot less important a department than we would like to think it would be.
I mean,
we've
you wouldn't
kind
think it
of-
looks like this.
Right, yeah, it's kind of, we have very much, it's a part of department that's been relegated in terms of its importance.
Steve Buscemi's God, he's unlike any God I've seen on
Yeah.
film before. He's
Yeah.
spiteful and
Well, I mean,
depressed.
that's the Old Testament.
Well, yes.
But no.
Old Testament God. Yes,
You're
it's
right, he's
very
got
vengeful. We haven't seen this type of God in a while.
No,
though.
yeah, we've gotten used to sort of nice, comforting Morgan Freeman or things like that.
Really quickly before I let you go, if you were an angel in real life,
Yeah.
which prayer would you answer? I really want a pair of Louboutins. You could answer that prayer.
I'll take that. I'll answer that one. I'll go and can angels steal? Like, is it stealing if you're an angel?
Size 40, please.
Okay.
Thank you.
40?
40. That's a size 10.
Oh right, okay. I was
you're-
like, Jesus Christ, that's the biggest thing I've ever heard of.
My friend.
Thank you so much.
Thank
That
you
was
so
great.
much.
Thank
Thank you for surfing by. Miracle Workers premieres February 12th on TBS. See you next week on Couch Surfing. Bye.